What's up, everyone? Welcome back after a week-long vacation to the Outside Line Media Podcast. I was sick last weekend. Ryan, you're sick right now. What's up?
We're back. Busy week. Even busier week coming up. But we got a lot to talk about. A lot of racing has happened, and a lot of racing is about to happen. We're here.
Yeah. Let's get into it. We're gonna just start off. F1's back. F1's amazing, but it's not as good as IndyCar. I'm just gonna say that right off rip.
Didn't disappoint though. First week, they made it an interesting race somehow.
The first 45 laps were a disappointment. After that,
it
started cooking.
The first 3 laps were very interesting. Then there was 42 laps of boringness.
Brother, even the formation lap was interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the rookie hell. And not even just rookies, because Carlos Sainz was caught up by that, by a supposed torque spike on his Williams. But we started off nice and well with Isaac Hadjar signing away his career and crashing out on the formation lap while trying to warm his tires.
Yeah, that was tough to watch.
And did you see what Helmut Marko came out and said afterwards, where he said it was embarrassing with him crying? Like, dude, he just crashed out of his first F1 race after working so hard to get there. I'd be fucking crying.
Helmut Marko has to make, I feel like he just feels the need to make harsh comments. Like, he always wants to be a headline, so he says some insane stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't blame the kid. And I mean, it's bad when a teammate or a father of a rival is comforting you.
I mean, are we really calling AlphaTauri and Ferrari? I mean, they kind of were this weekend, let's be real, but
you know what I mean. Not someone within your organization or even like somehow attached. It's not like a Haas Ferrari kind of thing, or like, you know, or them in Red Bull. It's someone from Mercedes, their father, or what is Ferrari now?
Yeah.
My head's not used to that. It's still very confusing, but you know what I mean. It's Helmut Marko is just such a piece of shit. Oh, that was too early in the podcast.
Dude, I already dropped that's getting bleeped. I just wrote a note for myself. We're starting strong, guys. This is what happens when we take a week off.
But yeah, I don't like that from Helmut Marko. Felt very bad from Isaac. Being in the race, like, just a mess. They couldn't keep it straight. And
I mean, you can't even just call it a rookie mistake, because I mean, like I said, Carlos said he had a torque spike, but the car seemed like it was just accelerating high into the rev range, which is going to create torque inevitably.
Yeah.
Look, I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I don't know wheel. I'm not an F1 driver. I also don't know how to look at data like that and tell you if there was a torque spike.
Yeah.
But I mean, close enough. Welcome back, Logan Sargent.
I guess, yeah.
They tried to, they could kill the man, but they couldn't kill the idea.
Yeah. No, it was, there's a total of 6 DNFs. Liam Lawson, Bortoleto, Alonso, Sainz, Doohan, Hadjar. Not great.
Jack Doohan's getting fired. I'm calling it right now.
Jack Doohan's life was written away before the season started.
And then once he crashed, just Flavio was already on the phone to Franco.
Yeah, he's telling Franco, come in for a seat fit and we'll get you ready, you know? Because
yeah, I mean,
these hours.
Yeah, it was a interesting race, to say the least.
Yeah, it was real boring in the middle, like we said, and at the end it got good. The McLarens are insanely fast and have insanely low tire wear.
Yeah, their dag is insane.
Yeah, there's murmurings about them making a ruling on the mini DRS with the flexible wings.
I thought so last season they were like strangling teams about it. Then beginning of this season, I thought they loosened the regulations around Flexa wings.
Yeah, they don't know what they're doing.
They just need to make a decision. The FIA needs to just figure it out. And let's talk about those restart penalties. that
Oh my
ended up not
lord.
being penalties, but they were under investigation for like 30 laps. Tell me how IMSA can review every single start for 4 classes and have penalties dished out in 5 laps.
If that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're quicker than that.
It's like, oh, the restart's under review. They'll have that immediately, like within that restart lap.
And if
Hell,
it says under
NASCAR
review,
can do it in a 25-second lap time. Tell you,
Yeah.
oh, we need to take a look at that. And then 3 laps later, they've got penalties issued.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy how long the FIA takes to make rulings on things, and I think it all is still just a systemic issue from their rule book being too vague
Mm-hmm.
on certain things and not having too much discretion.
Yeah, and I think the ruling that they were trying to hit those drivers on is dumb. I mean, it's a wet restart. You have people sliding off the track all over the place. Who cares if they have more than 10 car lengths between them and the next car? Like, as long as it's not absurd, like, it's a safety thing. These drivers need to be able to get... Because if you don't let them warm up their tires properly, which they probably couldn't even do in that amount of space, you're just going to have a pile up in turn 1.
Yeah.
Especially, turn 1 Australia.
They got to show some leniency. I mean, they did. But having that looming for 30 laps is insane. Like,
and then how do you have an unsafe release that becomes a penalty that is then appealed? I don't know how you appeal an unsafe release, honestly.
Yeah, that makes no sense to me.
I feel like that should be a very cut and dry.
An unsafe release is an unsafe release is an unsafe release. It's not like, they're just a mess and they're back to it, but I'm glad it was an interesting race. I think with these flexi wings making a ruling and some other stuff, maybe the season will tighten up a bit, but as things are looking, Mercedes might run.
McLaren.
God, what am I?
I mean, but let's talk about Mercedes, though. 3-4 with a rookie.
Antonelli. They didn't show an overtake on the last lap that he had. Did you see that?
I did not.
Ridiculous.
The one he had on Albon?
I think it was on...
It would have been Albon.
I must have been earlier. It wasn't the last lap thing because I thought it was one on must have been on Albon. But it was insane. So far back.
Yeah.
So it was insane, and he deserves a lot of credit for that race.
Like I said in preseason, he's going to be a Max Verstappen. When you look at, he's going to be very quick, which I'm surprised he didn't crash out in those conditions. He's going to be very quick, but he is going to crash out. He's an 18-year-old racing for a top-level team. Yeah.
I mean, but McLaren looks very fast, right? So I'm under the weather. I'm tired. We hear a lot of... I've just been thinking about a lot of racing names, a lot of teams, but yeah. McLaren looks fast. For the first time in like 1,091 days, Max Verstappen is not leading the Drivers' Championship, which is a bonkers stat that was even a thing. Yeah.
I mean, Alex Albon's P5 in the Drivers' Championship right now.
Wild. Williams, good on them. I mean, this is also one of those races where I don't take that much away from it because of all the conditions and the
but I mean, just quality in general. I mean, people were talking about, Sainz is going to embarrass Albon. Albon cleared Sainz in quali. Like, I think people underrate Albon as a driver because he's only had Max Verstappen as a teammate and Logan Sargent and Nicholas Latifi as teammates. He's had the two ends of the spectrum as teammates.
Yeah, and then Colapinto last year.
Yeah, which, I think if you put them in the car now, I think Alex is better than Colapinto. Yeah, no. And definitely a safer option, too.
Albon's like, this is my shit box. I know how to drive my shit box.
I know how to wheel it into P5.
Yeah, incredible race from him. Lance Stroll. I'm going to sing your praises. I'm going to sing your praises for a second. This is the textbook race for Lance Stroll to do something stupid. To shit fuck it into a wall.
It used to be a textbook race for him to do amazing. Are we back to old Lance Stroll? He used to be amazing in the wet, and then he just started shit fucking it into the wall every chance he got.
But a great race from him. He really if you watch the Rocket Power Mohawk video, I mean, he might have cursed him, or in a good way.
Lance
Let's say
Stroll,
bless him.
2025 drivers champion.
All right, let's settle down now. Settle down there. But yeah, overall, any like big takeaways you got for teams? As both of us being Ferrari fans, how worried on a scale of like 1 to 10 did that race make you?
I think it's the water.
It's the water.
It's the water.
It's
That's
the
all
water.
I have to say. I'm worried. And as a Haas fan, double
I'm even more worried.
That looked like a 2021 Haas.
My brother. I'm worried. I'm worried about the fellas right now. I'm very concerned. All right, I'm very concerned about the fellas. Yeah, I'm more scared about Haas than Ferrari. Ferrari, it's early season Ferrari, it's fine.
Ferrari, it's strategy. It's Ferrari being Ferrari, if we're being honest.
Haas, I agree. It looks like the Haas of olden days, which is not what I expected this year at all.
No, I thought they were going to take a step up.
Haas. Maybe they will. We'll see. Give them time, but not looking great right now.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they haven't talked about it. Maybe, and this might just be copium, they're sacrificing this season, writing it off to focus on 2026. Same thing they did in 2021 where they wrote the car off just to focus on the new regs. I can hold out hope, but I don't see Toyota wanting to do that.
Yeah, I would want them to come out and outright say that.
I also don't think that with how bad the car is, we're going to see that many upgrades this season. So they can, whenever they can start focusing on 2026 development, I'm not sure when that ban gets lifted for them to be able to work on that car. I see that happening. I see them fully focusing on that. Maybe getting a P4 again on season opener.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. But
yeah, then we had the 12 Hours of Sebring, Ryan.
A fun race. Real fun race.
IMSA's gonna IMSA.
It's IMSA, and it delivered. There's decent amount of clean racing in there, but they did get into the shenanigans.
Yeah, then they dropped a car on James's foot, which he's fine supposedly.
I was gonna say,
from what I've heard.
Context: James Hinchcliffe, during a driver change, him getting out of the car, somehow his foot was under the car when the jacks dropped. And if you watch an IMSA, they drop those suckers. They bounce. So it would have came down, compress on his foot, then come up. Not great. He looked in a lot of pain. He got back in the car.
He did a double stint from what I saw. So,
but yeah, so let's go over.
From what I've heard, he's fine. I'm sure we'll find out on the off-track episode that comes out tomorrow. We'll have more information on it.
So winner, we got Boo, the number 7 Porsche Penske Motorsports Porsche 963
with the number 6 Porsche Penske Motorsport 963 in second place. Another 1-2. Yippee.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't a 1-2 in Daytona, but it was basically a 1-2. Because Tom Blomqvist decided to spear Kevin Magnussen's car. There's this Alex Pallou's 93 was up there kind of with them.
They were in third, but they were still pretty
far back. It was a pretty dominant end of the race for GTP. LMP2 was the Inter Europol.
Yep, number 43. And first, the number 8, Tower Motorsports in second, and the number 11, TDS Racing in third. So, LMP2 was not bad.
Yeah, it was kind of a spread out field. I feel like LMP2 kind of tends to spread out as the race goes on.
Yeah, it
is what it is. There's a lot of shenanigans there. P5 in class, though, Juan Manuel Correa in the United Autosports car. That was a pretty good showing from them on the lead lap. But yeah, just nothing special. I forget what even happened to AO Racing.
Spike.
What happened to Spike? Wall. Yeah, that's what it was.
Spike hit the wall, sadly. But Rexy won. GTD Pro category, Rexy did get the win.
Yeah.
We love that.
Paul Miller with 2-3 after that, too.
I really wanted my boys in the number 864 Ford Multimatic. I really wanted them to get the win. They end up 5th. You win some, you lose some. What are you going to do? But yeah, Paul Miller with the 2-3. GT Pro is good. A lot of good racing there. And some slight shenanigans, as always.
There always is.
And I believe the bigger shenanigans was the finish of the GTD category. Little funny business there, if I'm remembering it correctly. Little bumperoonies.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what you're going to get with GTD, especially. Any kind of GT racing.
Levin's racing, Windward racing, number 57, comes out with the win.
Our boys in Wright Motorsports got P5.
Yeah, big day for them. Big day for them. Turner Motorsports, 6th. We'll take it. Also, random tidbit we found out. Maybe we just don't know Wheel, but did anyone else know that Gabe Newell is a part owner of Heart of Racing? Because like the Gabe Newell, if you're a fucking nerd and you like Steam, the founder of Valve, he owns part of Heart of Racing. I don't know how I never knew that. We literally both heard Gabe Newell on the broadcast. We're like, oh, surely it's a different Gabe Newell.
Yeah.
It's not.
Same
it's
Gabe.
Not. He's just like whatever. So yeah, another big endurance race. I watched, I'd say, probably 7 of the 12 hours, I think.
I on off probably watched, like maybe not dedicated watching if I had it up for like 9 hours probably.
Yeah, I was gone. I was out doing something in the morning, so I missed the first. I got the start, missed 2 hours, then like 20 minutes getting home, then missed another 2 hours later, I think, something like that. But caught the end, caught the majority of the bulk. Really enjoyed it. It's IMSA. It's gonna IMSA.
IMSA's always going to be a ton of fun.
Yeah, I'm very excited for more things. IMSA announced their schedule for next year. Some changes around shuffling.
Sad that we're losing Indy as an endurance race. It's moving to 2 hours and 40 minutes, I believe, the standard for their sprint races. And then, but I am happy, even though we won't be able to be there in person, probably, maybe, fingers crossed, we'll see. Road America is getting the 6-hour slot now instead.
Yeah, as much as I hate that for us, because we could easily get to Indy, and not so much.
I mean, we could easily get, it's 10 hours, brother.
Big difference between 3 and 10.
It's like closer to 2 even.
Yeah, more 2. But yeah, I think I get why they did it. Indy was probably the least appealing of the
Indy road courses. It's not something I really want to stare at for 6 hours.
Even though we did enjoy the GT World Challenge.
Oh, that's a ton of fun. It's just Road America is such a beautiful track. It's such a good track.
Yeah.
I mean, Rovals are always going to kind of be except for Daytona, just because Daytona is so iconic. The IndyCar or the Indianapolis road course isn't amazing. It's a good track, but it's nothing super special.
Yeah, I think that definitely was a smart move by them. I like the way they're moving.
Keeping it fresh for us. Not just moving into, oh, we're going to keep this race because it's historic. Looking at you, Monaco.
Staring at you, Monaco.
Looking at you. But no, it was a great race. Exciting. IMSA is IMSA is IMSA is IMSA is IMSA.
Beautiful. It's beautiful. We love IMSA, and every race never fails to disappoint. Action everywhere. Even when there's not action, it's great. I gotta say, one of my favorite part about, I mean, I'm sure I've talked about this in the pod before, just the broadcast during endurance races past about the 3-4 hour mark. Something beautiful happens where
it wasn't even that. It was like an hour into it this time.
They run out of storylines, and there was one moment where they were showing off a campsite that had been formed, like a little bar of like basically all these decorations, stuff they put in a fish tank, and showing all these guys doing all this stuff. There was a kid wearing a hat made of beer cans. Great. And at one point, the camera started panning over to the right, and you would have thought he was about to show someone getting shot because, like, no, we can't show that. That's too adult. And I'm like, yep. And that's Sebring. I think that sums up Sebring, and that shows up endurance car
that's
racing.
Sebring.
Where they can go away from the action.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about it, but I'm also just going to shout out the Michelin Pilot Challenge results. McAllister and Westphal in the Carbon with Peregrine Racing, BMW M4 in first, Rennsport with a nice P2, Turner Motorsports in P3, and just shouting him out because he's a local boy to us. Sam Paley in the number 13 with Jensen Altsman. I think if they could have thrown Sam Paley in that car for the entire race, that car's winning. I mean, he was fast and ballsy that entire race. Shout out to Sam there.
Yeah, incredible race from him.
Even though he went to the worst of the two high schools around us, but
yeah, he went to our rival.
Yeah, our rival high school
for sports. So, but yeah, I just IMSA blesses you around the board, every series, every race.
I can't wait to go to my first IMSA race this year.
If you have 0 streaming platforms and 0 access to cable, if you have a computer, you can watch IMSA.
Yeah, everything except for WeatherTech.
Not the WeatherTech, but all I'm going to say is if you want to watch WeatherTech really bad, you will find a way to watch WeatherTech. But
we aren't suggesting that.
No. IMSA TV has, and if you're outside the U.S., it is on YouTube and IMSA TV for free, most of the WeatherTech. But almost every other race, Mustang Challenge, MX5 Cup, all those, all on IMSA TV for free. It's great. It's great access. The broadcasts are high production quality for even the races that some people might not care about that much.
Yeah, I personally prefer. Yeah, it's better than like my main beef with like USF 2000 and those leagues is usually it's only static cameras. But they do full production for everything from MX5 all the way up to WeatherTech.
Full commentator teams. It's consistent commentators, and the IMSA TV guys are phenomenal. I mean, I probably next to Hinch and a lot of the IndyCar guys nowadays with their broadcast team. IMSA TV is my favorite. I love
it. Yeah, and I'm not sure how the new F1 TV group is because we watched the F1 race on ESPN. So we saw the Sky Sports broadcast, which I will always complain about Sky Sports. Ryan knows this. I'm not a huge fan of them. Just because F1 TV is better. I'm sorry for everyone that lives where Sky has a monopoly on it, and you can't subscribe to F1 TV.
Yeah,
but
the Sky broadcast was a little tough, not gonna lie.
Yeah, just overall, IMSA is so fan forward. I know you could watch our first episode we did, our recap of the 24 Hours of Daytona. Ryan talked about, even at a marquee race like that, how fan forward they are. And usually as the races get smaller, they're more and more fan forward. Find a race to go to it.
Yeah, it's great, and unparalleled access, unparalleled fan first thinking everywhere around.
Low key, I think a pit pass for some of their races might be cheaper than some of the pit passes for our local dirt track. But that's because you're paying the same price as the drivers, basically, when you get a pit pass at our tracks.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm going to say, I always say it. I say it all the time. I don't care if you don't have Formula One around you. I don't care if Formula One's too expensive for you. If IndyCar is too expensive for you, there's no IndyCar around you. Find your local racetrack. Go there. It's going to be better than racing than a lot of the professional series, even.
Yep.
Because those are guys and girls being dudes and dudettes. I mean, it's the people that live a couple houses down from you that are going out on the weekend and racing. I am very sad that I got sick last week. Otherwise, I would have been down in Bowling Green working with Champ Car, the endurance racing series, for their Corvette Museum event. So hoping to do that again in the future. Unfortunately, the flu said, nah, you don't get to do your first credentialed media event.
Yeah.
Kind of sucks, but is what it is. We'll try to catch up with them when they go to Mid-Ohio, probably.
Yeah.
And we might have some stuff. We might have a race coming up in a couple weeks. We're still trying to decide if we're going to be up at Mid-Ohio for that, but I think I will be. If Ryan joins me, we'll see.
See how it goes. Stuff lays out.
See how the vibes are. The perks of having a season pass, we can just be like, yeah, let's go to a club weekend.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Las Vegas. That was a good race, other than
It was.
having to watch SVG constantly lose front right tires.
Honestly, just having to watch tire issues the whole time.
Kyle Busch slicing his rim in half.
Yeah, they couldn't keep the tires on at all. Seabell needed to use 2 different pit crews. That was
wild.
That was my moment of the race.
So high IQ from his spotter, honestly.
Yeah, big call, and then I like the meme of his pit changer going, me? When he pulled in the pit box. You can see the visible confusion. And like, tighten it front right.
They're looking around like, we're not tightening your... Oh, it's a team car. We have to do
it. Go. Very funny. Heads up. I mean, obviously, they knew they were going to be penalized regardless.
So it's a lesser penalty if they if they don't go out of pit lane, it's a lesser penalty than if he had gone out of pit lane and had an issue.
Yeah, I think it was like unscheduled or service outside your pit box or something.
Yeah, instead of a loose equipment.
To the back I think it's to the back instead of losing a lap, right?
Something like that.
Or a drive-through or something, but yeah, it's...
I think it would have been a drive-through. I mean, and also having to limp the car around possibly on 3 wheels. So then you're losing time there. You're going to have a hold in your pit stall, probably. Because Kyle Busch's was a 2-lap penalty, I think, for his.
Yeah. So big heads up by there. It was a very hilarious moment. But tire issues all around. Really a weird race. You had 2 pit cycles. What were the leaders all had to pit to get there on fuel, and
then that caution just threw everything in the wind. I mean, Josh Berry was right there to take advantage of it. I was really hoping. I think personally, if that caution hadn't come out, Larson had a chance of winning. The minute that fuel save came out for that caution, though, the strategy that those extra 7 laps of fuel or whatever didn't make a difference.
Yeah. Josh Berry, big on them, good for the Wood brothers. I'm not upset about that at all.
No.
Daniel Suarez in second. Not a bad race from him at all. Kind of shocking.
Ryan Preece in third.
And not upside down.
Yeah, just a fever dream podium, honestly, for NASCAR.
Really a very weird podium. Very interesting race overall.
I want to know if anyone had even Josh Berry on a win for a bet. I want to know how much that paid out.
I saw someone that had one. It was like $10 and it paid out like $1,000.
Jesus.
It was something crazy like that.
Should I just start throwing random gambles on bottom rung, not bottom rung drivers, but back marker teams?
I mean, if there's a series you're going to do it in, it's NASCAR because it has the most random grids ever.
Yeah.
So.
And then William Byron in P4. And I mean, really
shuffled up field.
Yeah. Brad Keselowski in 11th. AJ Allmendinger in 8th.
Chastain in 5th. I mean, everywhere. The whole field shuffled. Cool race, good race. I like the ending. Good NASCAR race. I'm excited for next week. We'll get into that obviously later, but I think it's about time we get into our favorite part.
Good old predictions.
Good old predictions. We're going to start with IndyCar, who's at Thermal this weekend, and I think me and Patrick share the sentiment of we don't love Thermal.
We haven't seen a true race of Thermal yet, so maybe my opinion will change this week.
Yeah.
It looks like an interesting track. It was some interesting racing last year. We'll see how it does for a full race.
Yeah.
I've got
I'm
some
intrigued.
worries, which Ryan will see in the notes document with our predictions for what one of my worries is for this race. But
Yes.
yeah, who you got in P3, Ryan?
I
And the
went with
way we're
Alex.
scoring these, we made an update to our scoring, and we have to see. We should be tied on points right now. We need to double check it.
We haven't tallied. We have a set of predictions. I don't think we've tallied yet.
Oh, we're gonna need to tally another set. Okay.
No
But
updated score at the moment, but
for the top three, if they're in the top three, you get 1 point. If you get them in the right position, it's 1.5 points. And if you get the entire top three, you get a bonus 2 points.
yeah,
So a bonus half point on top of the positions being correct.
Yeah. So I have Alex Palou in third.
Okay.
I think he's going to continue being hot, but I just don't think he'll get it done here this year. What about you? Who you got in third?
I got Pato in third.
Okay.
I think as long as he doesn't have a messed up quali run this time, I mean, we saw how fast that car was in St. Pete. Granted, we're going from a street course to a road course, so it won't necessarily translate. But I've got confidence in Pato. I think he's going to get it up there.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's actually who I have in second. I put Pat O'Ward in second, so I thought really same sentiment. I just think second instead of third.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got going second?
I went out in left field for second. I've got Marcus Armstrong getting P2.
Okay.
I mean, look, we saw Felix win the race last year, of course, on weird race, win the challenge last year, which, of course, weird. There wasn't really strategy or anything at play for that because of the intermission that they did. But obviously, that Meyer Shank car was good there, and it's only gotten better.
Yeah, that Meyer Shank car does look pretty fast now.
Yeah, so I think Marcus is a great driver. I rate him really highly. I think he's got P2.
Wow, okay. I like it. I went pretty predictable for my winner prediction. Thirsty threes, Scotty McLaughlin. If it ain't broke,
don't fix
it. It might be broke, but I'm trying to fix it. You know what I mean? We'll get it. So who'd you got winning?
I've got Christian Lundgaard winning. I think McLaren's going to be fast here. Just vibes, really. I mean, we saw how fast Christian was at St. Pete. I think as long as their current car and they're able to get a good setup for thermal, they're going to be great. I can't remember if they tested at thermal or not, if McLaren did. If they tested at thermal, they're definitely good.
Yeah, I mean, Lundgaard looked quick. I did not expect that. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
Very surprised about that, but he did look quick. I could definitely see that happening. I mean, Aaron McLaren is a fast team.
Yeah.
And I think that they're going to always be. I think they're going to always have someone up there. And I think
definitely. Now that, like, I mean, Rossi just didn't really agree with that McLaren half the time. It seemed like it didn't really fit his driving style. I think from what he said, like, him and Pato basically had like opposite driving styles. So it's going to be difficult getting that data, but Christian and Pato seem to be kind of on the same wavelength, or at least their teams are able to figure it out and give them both good setups. What about your hit the apex, Ryan?
I got Connor Daly hitting the apex.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a top 10.
The JHR didn't look bad. Definitely.
Which I think, I'm calling crazy. I think top 10 is hit the apex for Connor Daly.
Yeah. I'm going to say the same thing, top 10 for my hit the apex. So
yeah. So that's what I think. I think he's going to have a good weekend. They tested there, right? Yes. Yeah. So think that'll help.
I know Dale Coyne tested there. I can't remember if Jay Char did or not. I think they did.
Either way, I think he's going to do good. Top 10 finish. Be a good weekend from him.
Yeah. I got Louis Foster I'm sticking
Ooh.
with it. Sticking with the Louis Foster top
Man,
10.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wrote Jacob Abel, erased it, and then wrote Louis Foster and erased it before I landed on Connor Daly. So
See, I
I
just
do
didn't
hope
take
that.
the extra step. I wrote Jacob Abel, erased it, and then put Louis Foster. I put Jacob Abel on. I'm like, he's got it. And I'm like, nah, he's in a coin, man.
Give Abel. I'm gonna give Abel a couple races. I'm also gonna give him a couple races, but I do hope he. I mean, I wish the best for him. I really like those guys.
I just want him to get out of the DCR.
Yeah, you kind of do be rotten in that car.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that pick. Who you got missed in the Apex, Patrick?
Look, this is. I'm sorry to the Air McLaren fans. I've sung your praises enough today. This feels like a bingo free space. I've got Nolan Siegel missing the Apex.
Yeah, you've been. As soon as you said sorry McLaren fans, I'm like, there's only one driver you haven't mentioned.
And like, I mean, honestly, if I just compare him to how his teammates do, he's gonna miss the Apex. I mean, he's the weak link in that team, honestly. Just yeah, he just needs to develop a little bit more as a driver, which he's only 18, so like he's got some time to maybe develop and get some more skills under him. He's just not a super inherently fast driver right now.
Yeah,
and he's a little crash happy. This last week wasn't his fault, but he is a little crash happy. Because I mean, he destroyed his car when we went to Nashville. He destroyed his car in Indy. I'm sure there are others that I'm missing, but
yeah, no, I don't hate that.
What about your Miss the Apex?
I got last year's winner, Felix Rosenquist. I think for some of the reasons you stated above with the weird no strategy and it being a race or a challenge, whatever they call it.
The $1 million challenge.
I don't think he's going to compound on that success.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a rough weekend from him. I think he might qualify okay, but I think he'll rot and just get cycled out with some weird pit stuff, and it will not work out. And speaking of weird pit cycle stuff, Patrick, well, you proposed a question that is a fear with Thermal Club, and is a fear with a decent amount of IndyCar races, actually.
Yeah.
And other series. And that is it going to be a fuel save? So since you're the man that posed the question, I'll ask you, do you think this is another fuel save race?
I've got faith in this being a good race, but I think it's going to be a fuel save that then gets spiced up maybe with a late race caution. But okay. I think majority strategy-wise, it's going to be a fuel save race. We're not really going to see diverging strategies. Basically just going to be a run it to the end kind of thing. How about you? What are you feeling vibes-wise?
I think we're going to have a fuel save race. I don't even think there's going to be a caution or anything. I think it will be a straight fuel save. Who gets it right? Who can hit the marks with the pit cycle?
Sorry, who can make sure they have a good pit stop.
Yeah, sorry, Andretti. Yeah. So I think I don't want to say fuel save races like it's a bad thing.
Fuel save races can be interesting. Honestly, Nashville. See, on a road course, it's not as exciting. On an oval, it can be really exciting because Nashville last year was definitely a fuel save race, but you had 3 different strategies in the field. You had Colton Herta, who said no to the fuel save and pitted late, pushed to the end. Pato, who was on a realistic fuel save strategy, made it to the end. And then David Malukas on the hopes and dreams fuel save strategy that was about 3 or 5 laps short. On an oval, it can be really interesting. On a road course or a street course, it's just kind of boring.
Yeah, I think there's times when it's not as bad. I still think that it produces good racing, but it's definitely a lot boring than those ovals that have, those 1.5 mile Kentucky Speedway.
Speedway, bring back Kentucky Speedway.
It'd be a great fuel save race. But yeah, I think it's more interesting on these ovals, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just a reality of how it is, and I love pit lane races, especially in IndyCar. I love the chaos of the pit lane.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with NASCAR. I think I was a little you get a little diluted with Formula One with how snappy their pit stops are, that there's something about those slow pit stops that I just love, where you can see the panic in the tire changer's eyes as he can't get the wheel on.
There's
He's like,
something
he
about
sees
a
the fuel going in.
35-second Sauber pit stop.
Yeah, it's just I like the longer pit stops. It's easier to watch, and it tends to cause more shuffling when the difference is seconds, not tenths of seconds between pit stop times.
Yeah.
It really can shuffle the field up, and with the kind of the strategies at play with the blocking people's pit boxes, having to worry about way more traffic in and out. So I'm excited for the race. Although it will be a fuel save, I think.
Yeah.
Other question you proposed.
Will Fox fix the broadcast?
And I hate to say it, 2 weeks is not enough for them. I think it's going to be another week of hiccups. I think the commentary team is going to do the best job they can. I have a feeling the telemetry will be better. I hope, but I don't think any of the graphics are going to change. I still don't think we'll have hybrid data or push to pass data.
I do think the graphics will change. I think the Halo graphic will change, the error screen graphic, because teams are complaining about that because they charge a premium for those sponsorship spots.
Oh, yeah.
And those graphics are covering the sponsors. And I believe IndyCar, they have to pay for the onboard camera. The teams do. So they're going to be very mad about having to pay for an onboard camera that they can't recoup sponsorship money from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there are going to be issues. I mean, speaking about timing issues and just broadcast issues, the F1 race, when there wasn't interval timing for like half the race.
Yeah.
Like you can't do, especially an F1 race. Like,
yeah,
I've seen junior series with better timing than that race.
And more I think about it, I think something that shouldn't have gotten wet definitely got very wet and knocked out a computer, because a lot of people, like, it was updating per lap for a little bit, and then it just straight stopped, went away. And I think that it was just a complete error, technological failure, I think, due to the weather, probably. I mean, I can speak for F1 races. When we were at the F1, when I was at the F1 race in Texas, the screen in front of us was going in and out the whole race. Some dude came back and was having to fix the whole time. So I think it was just a technical error. Hopefully it doesn't continue, because that is unacceptable. You need your time splits, and especially in F1.
And it shouldn't be updated once per lap. Like, I mean,
need it live.
That's what I think IMSA, or I think MX5 Cup even gives us.
Live timing, because they have the chip.
Live, but they do it per sector at least.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if Champ Car Endurance Series can do live timing every lap, I think F1 can do a little bit more.
So can you, yeah. So overall, excited for the IndyCar race. Let's move on to Miami.
I'm excited for Homestead Miami.
I am too.
It's a mile-and-a-half racetrack.
Kentucky Speedway, bring it back. I will say, real quick aside, I have seen multiple posts recently of people in support of Kentucky Speedway, unrelated to us. I know we have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
But I have liked every single one of them, and I will shoot. I'm here for it.
I'm going to get the stickers at some point. I'll print them at some point.
But Homestead Miami, Patrick, give me your top three. I'm very curious. I want to hear your whole top three. Let's see what you got.
All right. In P3, we got William Byron. P2, I've got Christopher Bell. And P1, I got Kyle Larson.
Yeah, you predictable little shit.
All right, let's talk about predictable here, Ryan. I changed my Hit the Apex because of what your Miss the Apex is. What's your top three?
In third place, I got Kyle Busch. Second place, I have Kyle Larson.
And in first place, you've got Christopher Bell.
I sure do. I can't say anything. We literally have a shuffled 1 and 2. Yeah, I think C. Bell going to get back on the horse.
They're both great at mile-and-a-half tracks.
Yeah.
They're both great at speedways.
So let's get into your Hit the Apex, because I know who yours is. Who you got?
My Hit the Apex is William Byron. You know, just vibes. I mean, every time, spoiler alert, Ryan has William Byron missing the Apex. Every single time he has made this prediction, I think he's won every time, right?
Not won every time.
Okay.
But he hasn't done bad.
Yeah, he's been good each time he's made this prediction.
I think Daytona 500 I had him miss the apex and he won the damn race.
And then you had it for the race after as well.
She got second or third, I think, or
no, because he won
something.
back to back, I thought.
No, because Seabell won 3 in a. Oh no.
Yeah, we're on race 5, right? 9 different stage winners at stage 1. We're on race 5.
Oh yeah.
I think that's literally what our winners have been.
Yeah, what was race 2? I'm do I not know ball? I'm trying to remember.
Race 2 was Atlanta? No, Seaball won Atlanta, didn't he? We're figuring this out.
No, it was Daytona 500, then Atlanta, but Christopher Bell won Atlanta. Okay. So yeah. He won the Daytona 500. Then Seabell won.
Because Josh Berry won. Yeah, geez, I can't do math in my head.
So yes, but yeah, he won 1. Then Christopher Bell won 3. But I think he was up there in all those.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I'll just say right now, Memphis Apex is.
I mean, his Atlanta, he was crashed out, but
it's gonna hit eventually.
Yeah,
I know it will.
He was running for the win in Atlanta before Kyle Larson committed murder. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yep. My hit the apex, because you think William Byron is all 5. My hit the apex is Josh Berry. I think they're going to carry that success. That car, outside of, they got lucky with the pit strategy, obviously. Or not lucky, they made
it's also a Penske affiliated car, too.
Was pretty fast.
Yeah.
It won that race on merit when it came down to the end of it. That was a fast car, and the Wood Brothers, obviously, insanely historic race organization within NASCAR, have been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
So I think Josh Berry's going to come off this, carry some heat with him, and have himself a good race. I'm saying top 10 again. I think they're a top 10 finish. Who's your miss the apex, since we know mine and we know your hit?
I've got SVG as my miss the apex. We saw issues with that Trackhouse car this weekend where he was just slicing up tires. I mean, we saw probably 4 tire punctures from him, and that's not normal. So maybe they'll get the setup right. And SVG's been struggling on the shorter ovals. He hasn't been doing amazing. So yeah, I think he's going to kind of carry on with that, and it's just going to end up being a thing for him this season while he still tries to figure it out. Now,
I really hope he overcomes it, and I don't want that to be the case, but I do. I think that's a good call there. I agree with it.
Speaking of tires going down, we're seeing the same form of track this weekend. How many cautions do you think there are going to be caused by tires? Whether that's tires going down, wheels flying off of cars, anything like that.
I'm going 3. I'm going to go 3 cautions. I'm even going to get more than that. I think 1 tire is going to come off a car, and 2 are going to get punctures. Are we? Yeah, we're talking cautions. Yeah, I think there'll be more tire blowouts on that, but I think there'll be 1 or 2 that people get away with it. That is another thing. I get NASCAR has to do it because of oval racing and how fast they're going and how little time they have to decide. But sometimes when they throw the caution out, I'm like, come on, man. Like, give it a second. They got it straight. There's no debris. But that's a classic NASCAR. Yeah, I think there's going to be 3 cautions because of tires. What about you?
I got 4.
4? Okay.
Vibes. I think it's going to slice up some tires, and some people are going to end up in the wall with sliced up tires.
Okay. I like it. Yeah. Overall excited for this NASCAR race. I've been really liking NASCAR.
This is my first season, like really
I'm watching every race. Yeah, me too. Like I've always obviously followed some of the races, but this is the first time I've watched every single, minus when I was in Las Vegas. I miss Atlanta, but I've watched every single Xfinity truck and.
I think I've missed a couple of support races, but I try to hit all 3 of them.
Yeah, it's been really cool. I'm excited.
Which I'm gonna say, if you guys haven't given oval racing a fair shot yet, you got to do it. I used to be pretentious, sorry, but I'm calling you pretentious, and say that oval racing isn't real racing. It's boring. They're just turning left. it is way more entertaining than that entire, like, I can watch 4 hours of oval racing more than 2 hours of Formula One. I will pick that. If I have to pick between NASCAR and F1, I'm watching NASCAR.
And if you haven't watched a lot of NASCAR and you want to get into it and you want to start watching this weekend on Friday at I believe 8 p.m. the Craftsman Truck Series is having an all-driver broadcast, which is just so cool.
And I am going to shout out again because FS1 is very common for those races in Fox where you need cable. Xfinity is on the CW, which I found out you can stream for free without even creating an account on their website. Shout out to the CW, and Xfinity is amazing racing. Yeah, keep talking about the truck race coming up. I just had to cut in with that.
No, absolutely. It's a FS1 driver broadcast. I'm super excited. It's Kevin Harvick, Joey Logano, Kyle Busch in the booth, I think, and then they have Carson Hocevar and Ryan Blaney, I think, as pit reporters. Don't quote me on that. I could miss someone there. But It's a cool concept. Everyone's a driver.
They're going to know wheel.
Harvick. It's going to be, I mean, you have
Larson's running a triple this weekend, too.
Yeah, Larson's running the triple, I believe. Is he the only one running a triple? I guess.
I think this weekend he's the only one running the triple. He's running trucks, Xfinity, and yeah, it's kind of confusing talking about Larson in a triple or a double. This is not two different races in one day. He already had enough of that last weekend with. They didn't get the sprint car race in until Sunday, I think.
I don't.
With how late that Xfinity race went.
Yeah, I don't think they got it until Sunday, but yeah. So it'd be a great opportunity if you have time Friday to get, if you don't know the personalities or want to know, get to meet some of the driver personalities and learn some stuff from the drivers themselves before they race on Sunday.
Yeah.
Cool concept, cool idea. I like it. You'll get more of that. I mean, there's always drivers in the booth. I mean, the two of the main commentators are, I mean, you got Kevin Harvick's always in the booth.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I love Kevin Harvick. Didn't love him really as a driver. He was always kind of that safe option as a driver, but he's just found his own in commentary. It's kind of like Hinch. Was a good driver, not an amazing driver, but is a god tier commentator.
Yeah. So it'd be great. Love
Don't ask me how I feel about Clint Boyer.
I didn't say that for a reason. I know you have strong feelings on Clint Boyer.
Not really strong. I just don't like him. Like, I think it's kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like Martin Brundle to me, where it's like, yeah, he was a driver, not an amazing driver. He's a pundit, not an amazing pundit. Like,
yeah,
the amount of times where, like, I love Martin Brundle's grid walk. Don't get me wrong, love it. But the amount of times during the commentary that he will just say something, he'll say something, I'm like, that doesn't seem right, and then like 15 seconds later, it's completely wrong. Yeah, that's how I feel about watching Clint Boyer in the booth.
Yeah, but overall, exciting week for NASCAR coming up. And last one with predictions, F1. We are back. We
forgot that F1 was racing this weekend, honestly.
We had a week. Thought we had a week, to be honest, for a second, until I looked. I was like 50-50, but it's a sprint race weekend.
Yep.
Who do you think's going to win the sprint race, Patrick?
I think Max is going to win the sprint race. We saw the Red Bull had some DEG issues. Now, that could just be the intermediates and being an issue with DEG on the intermediates. But I think just with the sprint race format, slap a set of mediums on that car, take it to the end. And Max has a lot more experience running China than most drivers do, because Norris came in 2019, so he ran China once in 2019 and once in 2024. Because China hasn't been on the calendar from 2020 until 2023. So I think just his experience at that track is going to help him, and the shorter race is going to help with the DEG issues that it seems like the Red Bull has. How about you, Ryan? Who you got winning that sprint race?
I think Lando is going to win the sprint race, actually, which is crazy coming from me, but I think Lando think that car is going to continue being a rocket ship, regardless of what the FIA tries to do. We'll see through my predictions. I don't think it's going to be like that for the whole weekend, but I think in that short of a stint sprint race formatting, I think he'll qualify front, stay up front, be up front.
Yeah.
So
it's a fast car. He's a fast driver.
Yeah, it's a fast car, fast driver. Who's your top three?
P3, I've got Lando. This is kind of that lack of experience I was talking about at China. He's a fast driver, but maybe China won't really suit the McLaren. Who knows? It could end up being like a Red Bull from last year where just every track suits it.
Yeah.
But yeah, P3, just kind of vibes. Who you got in P3, Ryan?
I also have Lando in P3.
There we go.
Same thought process, inexperience with China compared to others. That car might not translate, and I think with that, this will be the first real test. I haven't looked at the weather. Hopefully it's dry. This will be the first real test, if it's a dry race, of the true pace everyone has, and from there, hopefully get a better idea of.
And hopefully Ferrari is in P7, P8.
We can only imagine. We can only dream.
Getting beaten out by a Williams.
Unbelievable. Who you got P2?
P2, I've got Max.
Okay.
I think he's going to beat out Lando again, just a lot more experienced around this track. The Red Bull didn't look awful in Max's hands. We're not going to talk about it in Liam's hands. But, yeah, I just think going to be, sprint race win, and dig issues are going to cause trouble in the race where he's not going to be able to get a win pulled out.
Okay.
What about you, P2?
I got Charles in P2.
Copium?
I think they're going to... Big copium. Big copium. But I think they're going to come back. I think
hopefully it's just a wet setup issue.
Yeah, exactly. They'll come back, bounce back, be good, and be right there at the end. So I'm curious now, if you got Max Lando, do you have who I think you have winning?
No, this is actually... I'm negating everything I've said about experience. Pure vibes. He's got a point to prove after last
I think I know who you're about to say.
I've got I've got Oscar Piastri in P1.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking you had Oscar Piastri. I like that pick. I really do like that pick. I think he's going to feel some type of way about what happened last week.
Yeah, look, I'm going to say what I always have said since Oscar joined that team and McLaren got a competitive car. I think Oscar's faster than Lando. Just if you're talking take experience out of it, pure pace versus pace, Oscar's just got it. I mean, dude's quick.
Yeah, I mean, they got a good lineup, two quick drivers, and I think I agree. I think given equal experience, given time, I think it might end up being Oscar Piastri's team.
Yeah,
we'll have to see. I like that pick. I went stale. I went Max Verstappen. I think that Red Bull is gonna be fast in the dry. I think they'll get some tire egg filled out. Maybe the Red Bull won't be fast, but Max will be fast.
Yeah, I mean, Max is always going to be fast.
I couldn't put Ferrari first. There would be a little too much copium. Had to keep him in second. So I had to put Max in first. But I like the picks. Who's your hit the apex then?
I've got Isaac Hadjar. So I was really excited by his quality performance. I don't think he's going to beat Tsunoda. But what we saw pace-wise from that AlphaTauri, V-Carb, Minardi, Toro Rosso, money, was the quality pace was insane. I mean, Yuki he had that car up there. Isaac in his debut F1 race was almost in Q3 in quali.
Which is wild.
I think he's going to hit the apex. I'm going to say... maybe not necessarily points, but I think he'd be happy with a P12. P12 or higher.
Okay. I like that pick. I have Kimi Antonelli. I think he's going to continue the momentum. I'm going to say this is his apex. I think he's going to outperform his teammate. I think he's going to finish above George Russell. And I'll just say this now because it leads right in. I have him missing the apex.
Okay.
I think it's going to be completely opposite from George. I think George's going to have a really rough race. And I think Kimi's just going to nail it and just look miles ahead of George, even if it's one position.
Yeah, I mean, raw pace, I think. Again, raw pace, Kimi's faster than George.
Yeah, can he keep it on the track? Can he keep all four wheels on asphalt,
As long as he keeps all four wheels on the asphalt, I mean, I could honestly maybe see a podium from him in the near future.
Yeah, no,
I saw the
I
statistics where it's like if he got a podium in the first 5 races, I think he'll break Max's record of the youngest
wow.
podium. It might have been his race winner stat. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or I think Max's first podium was his win.
Oh,
But I mean, I laughed at that because Mercedes, not because of Kimi's skills, just because of Mercedes and how bad they looked at the end of the year last year. Who knows? It was a good car in the wet. We'll see. I miss the Apex, and I hate doing this to him because I think he gets unfair hate. I was arguing with Ryan the entire time we were watching the race on Saturday night / Sunday morning. But I think it's going to get into his head what happened last weekend. I've got Liam Lawson missing the Apex. I think it's just going to... I think we're going to see a Pierre Gasly kind of implosion from that wreck. And he's just not going to be able to regain focus and perform well in that car. I definitely think he is not making it into Q2. Or he's not making it in Q3, sorry. He might make it into Q2, but he's going to finish outside the points. I'm going to consider missing the Apex.
okay. I don't hate
Actually,
that pick.
no. If one of the V carbs outscores him, he misses the Apex. I'll do that.
Okay, take that. All right, and last but not least, at this, what I assume has been a very long episode. I have no clue. My sense of time.
Hour.
Right on. Best of the rest. What team do you think is going to be best of the rest?
I got AlphaTauri, V-Carb, Minardi, Toro Rosso. Yeah.
Man, how turntables. I have Williams, which I never thought would come out of my mouth, but you can't deny the performance Albon put on last week.
Yeah.
I think they're going to continue.
And
that
they got
momentum.
Sainz in the second seat.
And Sainz will get it eventually. Weird race.
He's used to having a decent car, so it's going to take a little bit to get used to his shit box.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's true. He's like, this isn't my shit box. So, yeah, overall, big weekend of racing. So happy. I'll keep saying it every episode. So happy we're back in the full thick of things with racing. Having at least, we're to the point where it's at least 2 series every weekend. It's
NASCAR's every weekend.
So, and then you're going to have F1, IMSA, or IndyCar. You're going to have one of them.
Yeah.
Or something. So,
Moto America's going to be starting up soon.
Yep.
It's going to be a great season, guys.
Can I say something real quick? Do you remember the name of the NHRA driver who was talking shit on IndyCar?
I do not remember the name of the NHRA
we don't know his
driver.
Name. We don't give a fuck. Fuck you.
He qualified slower than an IndyCar at IMS's average speed is.
So we are the fastest racing in the world. No one respects you. This is a bit aggressive. No one respects you. I don't respect you.
Did you watch the off-track episodes from last week?
I have not. Yeah.
Rossi went off on the podcast, dude. It was hilarious. Like I'm here always for Angry Rossi because it's always hilarious. He might have called him a bum. I don't remember.
I like it. But yeah, that's annoying. Whatever. I just had to throw it in there. I forgot to say it earlier. But yeah, big weekend of racing coming up. We are back on the normal schedule. We are here. We'll have to have a double week here soon to make up for it once neither of us are sick and we have a semi-decent schedule, which we'll see.
I can't wait for the summer. Once the summer's here, we will have good schedule because Ryan will be out of school, I'll be out of school, and we'll have more free time and we're going to be at more races. Yes, whenever I will say this summer, whenever we're at a race, you will have double episodes. We'll have a race episode at the track, probably with guests on almost every single one of those podcasts.
Yeah.
And then we'll have our normal Wednesday episode.
Yeah. Big things coming. Excited. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Like, subscribe,
watch racing,
comment. Go to your local dirt track. Go to your local track.
Don't go to your local drag strip. Support your local drag strip. I'm going to say I hate drag racing, but I might go to the NHRA race in Indianapolis this year.
Drag racing's sick at the end of the day. Just being lame like that and not understanding what they're trying to say. You drive in a straight line, brother. You drive in a straight line, and you weren't even good at that.
And he did the exact opposite of what he was hoping to do. He made more people hate the NHRA.
Yep. So good job, buddy. Have a great week, everybody. It's been Outside Live Media Podcast. We're going
boogity, boogity, boogity.
Boogie, boogie, boo. I'm going to bed.
Yeah. See you guys.